People who have ordered a bar Safeword drink to get out of a bad situation. What was your date like and how did the staff help? I used to be a bartender at a tap house club. While we didn't have a secret drink, if a guy ordered a drink for the lady and she seemed uncomfortable or really drunk, we'd address the lady and say, "What would you like, miss?" This usually gave the woman a chance to signal how she felt about the guy, and we'd alert the bouncer. One night a woman that was visibly intoxicated to the point of passing stumbled up to the bar. A guy that seemed to be forcing conversation with her approached the bar right behind her. He came out of nowhere and seemed almost sober. He ordered shots for him and the lady, so I turned to her and said, "What would you like, miss?" She blurted out, "Not this freaking loser." Me and her started talking until the guy got visibly upset and left with his single shot in a plastic cup. As soon as he was out of eyesight, the woman straightened up and said, "Thanks. I was sure if I acted drunk someone else would have gotten me away from him." Till there's something called a Safeword drink. As a 57-year-old married male, I'd be surprised if it's ever useful to me directly, but I've got grandkids to inform. Keeping your grandkids safe is directly useful to you. Ordered a Manhattan. Bartender told me I had a call at the phone at the end of the bar. I go over and look around for a phone but can't find one. He then asks me if I need a cab and that I can wait out back for it to arrive. I had no idea what was going on, and after a few exchanges of quizzical looks he explained that a Manhattan is the safe drink. I just wanted a Manhattan. He said I was the first person in years to have ordered one at that bar. Don't make your safe drink a real drink, FFS. I went to a late night sushi place with an old friend who was going through a rough patch in life. He showed up smashed, and then he proceeded to order a huge bottle of sake and poured us both glass after glass while we were waiting for the food. He also took the opportunity to start professing his love for me while rubbing my upper thigh. I was way out of my comfort zone, almost entirely alone at this place at like 1 or 2 AM, and hadn't even received the food. I was panicking because I knew I'd get too drunk to comfortably leave if I kept up with the drinks he was pouring. We had a tea pitcher at the table, so I started dumping the shots into the pitcher when he would look away. Our server saw me and made eye contact, and he started coming to the table a lot to stand between us and pick up dishes. He brought a second tea pitcher and just placed it beside me so I could drink something else. He also came outside to run something to the dumpster when we were leaving. It wasn't much, but it was something when there was no easy way out. I was on the weird end of something that feels like it should go here. Got together with a group of friends that just got off their work shifts and went to a local dive bar. One of the girls from work tagged along and had some shots with us. 3-4 shots in she said, "This chocolate cake shot is amazing. I can't even feel the alcohol. I haven't anything to eat all day, so this is like food, right?" She then proceeds to keep drinking to the point where she can't walk. There are 3 of us guys and we had to literally carry her to the car and spend the whole night making sure she didn't die. Worst drinking experience ever. The bartender looked at us walking out the door like we were freaking scumbags. I never went drinking with her again. There should be a safe word for guys to get bartenders to stop giving drinks to someone. That safe word is overserved. Getting someone that drunk is illegal if you're selling alcohol, at least in most of the US. Not a safe word, but just a shout out to the women who are aware of other females in uncomfortable situations. My story on I was in a very crowded bar and it had just struck midnight. Everyone shouted and it was awesome and good fun. My fiance wanted to run to the restroom before it was crowded, so I waited near the dance floor and a random guy came up to me and started getting too close for comfort and wouldn't leave after I told him I was with someone else. A girl who had been near me and Esso for part of the night noticed and instantly came over and said, "Let's dance." We stepped off to the side and she told me she thought I was uncomfortable and that I might need a save until my Esso comes back. I thought that was the coolest thing. 5 minutes into the new year and I knew it was going to be a good year full of bad butt chicks. Never saw a sign at a bar. I did see one at a doctor's office. It was signed with tear off slips if you were in trouble and needed to be seen alone. Just tear off a slip and give to a doctor or nurse and they send everybody else out the room. I was in a hotel bar and started talking to 2 gentlemen. I'm 31. Creep was maybe 45. Hero 50. Creep was clearly drunk. Each time he went to the bathroom, Hero would lean over and say he has been chatting up every lone woman all night. So Hero and I get up to leave around 11 and get in the elevator. He says he's going to 6. I say I'm going to 10. Creep comes running up to catch us. We ask what floor and he says 10. Hero says only 2, so floor 6 comes up and I take the hint and get off. I wait a couple minutes and Hero comes back and tells me he is in the room right across from the elevator. I literally was in the room right next to this creep. I thanked him and snuck to my room. Thanks Hero. I have 2 stories. First one happened in my early 20s. It was a blind date set up by someone I'm no longer friends with, and the date seemed like a fairly normal douchebag frat guy. I don't like guys like that, so I was already planning on leaving early. Anyway, he talked about himself almost non-stop, and every couple of minutes or so, he'd mumble something quietly and get a weird look on his face. I couldn't hear him when he mumbled, and I almost never got the chance to ask him to repeat himself, and when I did, he'd ignore me. Eventually, I actually understood one of the things he said. He mumbled, "Your skin would look better on my wall." I went to the bar, ordered a Paladin hard lemonade no ice, and I was escorted to my car. Second story happened in my late 20s. I had a scarf wrapped around my head, since I was bald from chemo and got cold easily. I was on a blind dinner date at a nice restaurant that also had a bar counter. My date seemed really freaked out when he saw me, and I couldn't figure out why. After a few minutes of him being very on edge and me awkwardly trying to make small talk, he gets up and goes to the bar. He disappears with a waiter for a few minutes, and the next thing I know, a bunch of cops come in and I get handcuffed. It turns out he's got a phobia of Islam. He thought I was wearing a hijab, and the police were called because I was a terrorist who informed him of a plot to blow up a shopping mall. Fun times. Oh my, there are no words. I hope you are healthy and that no further douchebaggery has plagued you. I had no idea safe drinks existed, so this doesn't exactly answer your question, but I have had bar staff follow me into the bathroom and discreetly ask if everything was okay and if I needed help. Everything was okay. I was there with my BF, but I wasn't feeling well, so I think I looked anxious and uncomfortable. He's many years older than me, so people always make assumptions. That, along with my demeanor, probably made them concerned. Honestly, I appreciated them picking up on it and asking. Even though everything was okay, it's always better to be safe than sorry. It wasn't a bar, but my first college. I worked late at the coffee shop and then had theater practice till 11 PM. I parked behind the school by the theater backstage door and got a parking ticket. The cop came by and asked why I parked there. I told him it felt safer, and he told me not to worry after this ticket. He couldn't get rid of the printed one. The rest of the semester I parked there when I neared to close. I did the same thing. I had to pay a lot of tickets, but I looked at it like I was paying for safer parking. In a way, totally worth it. I was a bouncer at a bar, a very popular university bar that became a nightclub on Friday and Saturday nights. One Friday night, about an hour before last call, I see this extremely drunk girl, could barely stand, being ushered out of the bar by a group of 7-8 dudes. I had been working the door all night, so I remember her coming in earlier and she was not with these guys. I did not like how drunk she was and the guys came across as hungry around her. So, cause I'm a confrontational butthole, I pull her away from the guys and ask her if she knows them. She couldn't even answer coherently. I tell the guys she's not leaving with them, and they bitched and moaned, but they left without further issue. I didn't even trust a taxi to take this girl home given how intoxicated she was. So, after about 12 minutes of trying to get the right phone number from her, I called the girl's mother to come get her. The mom was great and was there quickly and took the girl home. The next weekend, in the early evening hours before the bar became a scene, this girl and her mom both come to the door and thank me in person for helping her out. They both suspected her drink had been tampered with. I worked as a VIP host at an exclusive resort and we had earpieces like the Secret Service. We had a code phrase, black tea affair. If a woman or I suppose a man, but it was never used by a man when I was there, was uncomfortable with a guest they would say the code either directly, if they could do so discreetly, or in a sentence, emphasizing black and 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 black. We had every shape and size males, from a huge Samoan, a scrappy Salvadoran, and a bunch of capable white and black dudes. I mention ethnicity because it was great being so diverse and we could kind of relate to all clientele from different backgrounds and regions. Some of us were stern and others social diffusers, but it worked great and the female employees loved having it. Highly recommend all businesses have a code word. Not a Safeword, but a random patron regular at my favorite bar. I'm there talking to my bartender buddy when a girl pulls up next to me. She's pretty, but visibly distraught. What I'd noticed was, she kept looking around for someone. I noticed her texting, "Hey, are you near XXX tavern?" Some dude came up to me and brought me a drink, and he won't leave me alone. As I was going for my phone on the countertop, after a few minutes of feeling her anxiety, I decided to ask her if she was okay. She didn't seem alright. She straight up told me she was hiding from some weirdo, and he's been following her, even to the unisex bathrooms. I said, "No problem. Let me know when he's close. I'll help you out." When the dude came up, I whispered "go with it" and wrapped my arm around her shoulders and kissed the top of her head. Dude asked, "Hey, there you are. Didn't see you around," and she said, "Oh, yeah, I was looking for my boyfriend." You didn't hear me say that. I introduced myself and shook his hand with a smile. Dude stormed off quick after that. I bought her a drink of her choosing, and with a grateful thank you, off she went. Bro, you're G. Hope you keep that up and more people do this. I work as security at a couple bars in my city. The one I was at for the longest was often referred to as having the best looking staff in the city. I was not included in that grouping, so we had this issue come up a lot with our staff actually. Being the security manager there, I decided we needed a Safeword to make sure no customer took it too far. Previous incidents. One of the servers decided on Domino's X. "Hey, wanna get Domino's after work?" Since we could play it off. If they said it to me, I would come in and play the 5-minute boyfriend or remove the offending party if it got too egregious. Only happened a couple times, but always fun. After the bar shut down, we all scattered around the city but still keep in touch. One night I was working at a bar on one end of the city and the same server was now a bartender at a bar on the other. I get a text from her that just says Domino's. Obviously I can't get there and I let her know this and ask what's going on. She explains there's a creepy guy at her bar and it's only him and her in the building and he's getting more aggressive and everything short of begging me to get there. Thankfully there's a bar I used to work at about a block away from her, so I was able to text one of the guys there to see if he can go check on her. He was the first person that came to mind once I realized I couldn't personally help, so it was nice he was so close. Tiny by bouncer standards. Absolutely terrifying human being. One of my favorite people. He gets there. Creep apparently swings on him for talking to his girl and he removes the creep from the property. I asked for details but neither of them will tell me the full story. I wanna press the issue but I also don't wanna be an accessory after the fact. As far as I know, he and the bartender are together now, which is awesome. Modern day Romeo and Juliet. You know, even if this thread didn't get that much relevant answers, the attention it brought to the concept is awesome. I'm from Germany, don't know of anything this subtle. I don't know if others had the same idea yet, bet though, but I've worked in bars a freaking lot over the last 10 years and I'll definitely talk to my former bosses regarding a Safa drink. Being a female, I have never heard of the Safeword drink, but I have looked at a random girl and been all, "Oh my god, it's been so long, how are you?" and give them a hug when she whispers, "I got you." I was working at a music festival as a promoter and I could attend the concerts for free, so I'm walking around the crowd since I don't really know anyone, and I see this one guy that was obviously on some sort of drugs and probably drunk as well. He was next to two young girls and he was just swaying left and right, shirtless, and bumping against them, and they clearly don't know him because they are looking at him all weirded out, scared almost. I noticed they couldn't get rid of him. he would just slowly move towards them every time they tried to walk away. So I step in between the guy and the girls and basically take the body shots from his shoulder as he continued dancing, giving the girls enough time to walk away and lose him. It felt great to help someone out. A little different, but I've had it happen multiple times oddly enough. A girl will run up and hug me or act like they know me and immediately I'll notice the creepy dude behind her or nearby, so I'll play along for her benefit until dude leaves. I'm guessing it's because I am a bigger guy, but it's nice to be able to help out. Even had a girl walk up and kiss me, then pulled me in for a hug and said please play along, the kiss was your thank you. I was just thinking to myself the dude must have been a real creep for her to do something that extreme, but we actually ended up dating for about 4 months afterwards. I go to a gay bar in London and they have the posters all over the bathroom to order an angel shot if your Grindr date is going wrong. I always think surely everyone uses the same bathroom, so how is code useful? The restaurant that I work at has a regular who will bring in potential clients often. His usual drink of choice is a Kettle One with soda and a lime. If he switches it up and asks for a Kettle One with an orange slice, we just serve him a glass of club soda with orange slice. Clever. His clients drink but he remained sober and can outwit them in the end. I saw a girl at the bar who seemed totally out of it and she was with 3 guys that seemed way more sober than her. At one point I saw the guys high-five each other and not her. She went to the bathroom and I followed. At the sink I approached her and saw her lips were blue. I asked if she was okay. She said she didn't know. I asked if she knew the guys and she said yes. I told her that I could call the police for her and she said yes. I did, and she stood there watching me with her eyes rolling back in her head. The police said there was nothing they could do unless she called because she said she was with them and she may just be drunk and not understand me. Then one guy came in the ladies' room all ha 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 what's going on, and then led a blue-lipped girl out as he said, "Let's go home, I think you drank too much." Then I left too, watching the 2 other random smiling guys walk out with them. I did see her on her own and way more sober down the road at the same bar. When I asked her about that night she just said she broke up with him. I didn't pry. The cop's response makes me mad. Who knows what happened that night? Poor girl. And much more direct approach. At a bar in a small town in Italy with my sister. While she's ordering an Italian, a creepy older man moves in close and starts asking me if I'm cold, putting his hands all over me and then leans in to kiss me. Before my sister and I could do anything, the bartender leans over the bar and just pushes his head away from mine so forcefully that he fell over. 3 guys in the bar start screaming at him in Italian and hustle him out the door. Ah, Italy. Being raised with Italian sisters whose concept of Safeword is frick off you weirdo or I'm going to stick this fork in your eye, I wasn't always totally in tune to this sort of thing. So in college, standing at a bar getting a drink, girl being hit on by a dude, obviously uncomfortable, leaned over to me and said get me out of this. I was puzzled, asked out loud what do you mean? She cringed. Dude looked over at me, then back at her. Then it dawned on me what was happening. So I basically told him to frick off and leave her alone or else I'd stick a fork in his eye. He left. She said up, thanks, and then she left too. That was kinda embarrassing. TBH. But always swore up and down that if I ever caught that signal again, I'd totally play along. One of my exes is a bartender and she said generally girls will just come up to her, ask her if she can get a bouncer or someone to help her get out. Ex-bar manager here. Worked in the industry 10 years, even went to bartending school where they taught us ways to handle situations like this. I ran a downtown 3-story bar that was packed all the time. The Safeword is a good thing. I've had many girls come to the bar looking for help out of a situation. I've had to get guys bounced out. I've had to pull guys aside and tell them to chill the frick out. I've cut many people off for being too wasted in my opinion. A young lady came up to me one packed weekend night. Apparently 3 guys were following her and constantly saying things to her and you could tell she just wanted to cry and get away. She had that look and she ordered the highest level safe drink, a Hulk, straight up, and right at that time the 3 guys come up and one said he'd pay for her drink while the other started rubbing on her shoulders. Man, when I saw that, I alerted security and jumped over the bar and grabbed 2 of the guys. By that time 4 bouncers were there helping and they were all 3 promptly taken out a side exit to the alley. Later the young lady explained how they followed her to 3 different bars, tried groping her on the dance floor and consistently hit on her trying to get her back to the hotel room. She thanked me for jumping into action so quick. Honestly, I don't even remember thinking. I just acted. My gut knew something bad was gonna happen. I've got many more safe drink stories if anyone wants to hear 'em. Some crazy, some the usual drunk guy coming on too heavy. Be safe out there. That goes to the guys too. See, I told you, I got some crazy stories. Huh? I'm the guy at the restaurant I work at who is tasked with throwing out the creepy guys that are messing with girls. Had to drag a guy out tonight who followed a girl into the bathroom. Not a bouncer, I'm a cook, just the biggest guy at work. Also I'm 16. Doesn't matter what your title is, those women will remember you for the rest of their lives for helping them feel safe. Not the same, but one time at a party I was feeling pretty awkward, so I was sitting in a chair on my phone when I got a Snapchat message from a kid that was at the party currently, which confused me because he had my number and was sitting 10 feet away on the couch with his arm around an extremely drunk girl. As I was opening the message, he sent me another. The first one read totally gonna frick, girl who he had his arm around's name tonight, and the second one read sorry, meant to send that to the boys. I looked up and confirmed to myself that she was entirely too drunk to even consider, much less consent, so I got up, crossed the room to them, and said to her, "Oh my gosh, what happened to your hair? It looks like a chunk got burned or cut off or something." She instantly freaked and insisted I go to the bathroom with her to help find and fix it, leaving the guy behind. Once we were safely alone in the bathroom, I told her that her hair was fine and that the guy she was with was not, and was taking advantage of her in her drunken state. I showed her the messages and then my friend and I snuck her past him out of the party, took her home and got her McDonald's. The guy was P and blocked me on everything the next day. Boo-hoo, I guess. Honestly, I've always been prepared for that situation and had a friend ready to call with an emergency and pick me up if needed. Dating sucks. I'm married now and do the same favor for my single friends. Solidarity, yo. I was at conference this week. One night I was hanging by myself in my room, went to the designated smoking for a cig, and got into a conversation with another smoker. He says let's go to the bar and have a beer. It seemed innocuous. About 10 minutes into our conversation I felt something was off. I called him out and left, but asked the bartender for help before going back to my room. The bartender himself gave me an escort to my room. Amazing hotel staff, and I am thankful. Have been bartending for close to 10 years now. We don't have a Safeword drink, but I have let many a girls use our employee exits to avoid creepers. I've been the boyfriend to a lot of strangers too. As a bouncer, I was always looking for people who needed help. If I wasn't the door guy, I'd be watching body language, being around the fights about to happen and uncomfortable other extremes of behavior. Related side note, if you're doing drugs and licking people, don't expect me to let you stay. Happens often. I had to order a Safeword drink cause some dickus was trying to start a fight with me cause I wouldn't let him know the girls' names I was out getting drinks with. God bless the gigantic guy behind the bar who came out and stood next to me for like a solid half hour just so I could enjoy the rest of my beer in peace. I work as a bartender at a nightclub in a uni town. We don't have a safe drink, but I will subtly ask or signal to girls if they are okay when they come up to the bar with a guy I judge as being obnoxious aggressive. If they say they are not alright, I pull them to the side and make up a reason about coat check so they can have time to escape. Or if it is the end of the night and it seems as if a girl is in a pressured situation to leave with a guy, I will ask if they want to wait behind our bar, coat check, and make sure I stay between them and the guy. If the guy doesn't pick up on him not being welcome, I grab a bouncer and he is escorted out. At that point I will offer a ride with one of our staff if they cannot get a friend can to pick them up. Not a bar but at a festival. young looking girl, about 18, in front of me in the crowd keeps getting checked out by a considerably older looking dude, 30 plus, in front of her and is clearly uncomfortable. This guy is turning around every 10 seconds to try and smile at her or trying to dance with her. I ask if he's causing a problem and she replies he is. I said stand behind me, and the next time the guy turns around he gets a face full of me instead of her. I look him dead in the eyes, lean in close and say, can I ask why you keep staring at my sister? And might I add she's 15 inches, to which he responds crap sorry mate and scuttles off further into the crowd never to be seen again. A girl and her friends thank me and we enjoyed the rest of the show. I work in a bar and we had such a situation once. We don't have a Safeword, but rather a phone number that you can call from the toilet, etc. We asked her if she could come and see the lost and found stuff, because we thought we found something that belongs to her. We called her a cab and told the guy that we needed his table for a reservation. During Gay Pride I visited my two best friends and we all went to a bar together. Mind you, I was the only girl in a bar full of gay males and a couple of other couples. Some guy comes behind me while I'm hugging my best friend since I was flying out next day and grabs my butt. I immediately turned back and punched him in the face. That obviously didn't do anything because a couple minutes later he does it again. This time the bartender saw it as I pushed the guy back. I was drunk and pee now, and promptly kicked him out and told him if he sees him again he'll punch him himself. I thanked the bartender because honestly I was so baffled as to why a guy would think that's okay doing. The bartender told me if I felt unsafe leaving by myself, my friends left a bit early, I could just wait while they cleaned the bar and they would walk me back to my Uber or car. This just came up on my Facebook memories today. Weirdly, I was on a night in Leeds and had got myself absolutely hammered. Some blokes started chatting to me and it all began to feel a bit uncomfortable. I made a hasty exit, but because I didn't want him to see where I was going I wandered off in a strange direction. Next thing I knew, I'd inadvertently gone out a side door and was on the street at 1 AM, on my own, in a strange city with no friends. I went round to the front door and explained the situation to the bouncer, who let me in and walked me round the club trying to find my friends. I couldn't find them. I only knew 3 other girls in the whole group, so they would have been hard to spot, and my handbag was also with them, so I had absolutely nothing. By this time I was distraught, pretty upset from the encounter, then from getting lost without friends, bag, wallet, phone, hotel room key, etc. Luckily, I could remember the name of the hotel, so the bouncer put me in a taxi with £10 and sent me there. They wouldn't give me a new room key as I had no idea and was clearly inebriated, so I waited in the lobby for the group to return. The next day, I posted a thank you card and a tenner to the bouncer at the club, and I remain eternally grateful to him for saving me when I was really distressed. Shout out to Smokestack Leeds. About a month ago I had a couple at my bar that was giving me weird vibes. My co-worker felt the same way, and we kept circling around their corner to understand what was happening. We figured the lady met up with her ex, and he wasn't too happy that they were no longer together. After a few hours, the guy got drunk enough that he was verbally lashing out at her. He went to the bathroom, and I said, if he's doing anything you don't like, order a Tito's Martini Rocks and I'll get someone to kick him out. She looked grateful, but said their conversation wasn't to that point yet. Another hour goes by, and she orders the drink. I immediately get the manager and my fellow male bartender to see him out while hiding her in our back room. The guy doesn't take it so well. He pulls out a gun and flashes his badge. He's a cop that works at a local precinct, and says because he has a badge, he can do what he wants. He waves his gun around, scaring the crap out of everyone, demanding to see his ex. One of our employees called 911, and police came to apprehend this guy. He was an actual cop, just off duty, and uncaring. He had a badge and took an oath. His ex was completely right to try and get our help, and I'm so glad I gave her a code so we could hide her. Your brain may not know what the situation is, but your gut always does. Never doubt it. This was in Washington, D.C. about 20 years ago. I was with a male friend who decided to take me to a gay bar that evening to come out to me. I'm a straight male and had never been to a gay bar. To try to insist that I was comfortable with it, I hung out and danced with him and another friend. Shortly after, An older man in a white double-breasted suit jacket and captain's hat kept trying to hit on me. I told him that I was straight but flattered and it did not matter. I am 6'2", 200 pounds, so not tiny. We leave the bar and he follows us to the next bar. Soon after I see him hitting on a very drunk, very young, gay man. About 30 minutes later the old man in the captain's hat is leading the young drunk gay man out of the bar. Something felt very creepy about it and I have no idea why, but I followed them out. As they were about to get into a cab, I grabbed the younger guy away from the older man and told him he was not going home with him. The young man whispered "thank you" in my ear and I stood between him and the old guy, who proceeded to take a swing at me. Unsuccessfully, I motioned for another cab to come put the young man in the cab and told the driver to go away while I stood in front of the other guy to make sure he didn't follow him. I don't know that anything bad would have happened that evening, but my intuition tells me that it would have been horrifying. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.